Imagine you're standing over a fire with a perfectly cooked steak in front of you. The smell is incredible. The surface is sizzling. Your mouth is already watering before the first bite. Now think about this. That steak probably came from a cow, maybe a pig, maybe a chicken if we're talking about a different meal. But why not a wolf? Why not a lion? Why not a tiger? Humans have hunted animals for thousands of years. We have eaten meat for as long as our species has existed. Yet almost everywhere on Earth, the animals that end up on our plates tend to come from the lower levels of the food chain. At first glance, this seems like a cultural choice. Different societies eat different things. Some people eat insects, others eat horses. Some cultures eat animals that others would never even consider touching. But when it comes to large predators, something strange happens. Across continents, across centuries, and across civilizations that never interacted with one another, people generally avoided making apex predators a regular part of their diet. And the reason goes much deeper than tradition. To understand why, we have to start with one of the most important rules in nature. Energy is expensive. Every living creature survives by consuming energy from something else. Plants capture energy from sunlight. Herbivores eat plants. Carnivores eat herbivores. Predators hunt other animals. But there is a problem. Every time energy moves from one level of the food chain to the next, most of it disappears. Biologists often refer to this as the 10% rule. Imagine a field full of grass. That grass contains energy collected from the sun. A deer spends its life eating that grass. Yet only a fraction of the grass's energy becomes part of the deer's body. The rest is burned through movement, body heat, digestion, and basic survival. Then a wolf hunts the deer. Again, only a small portion of the deer's stored energy becomes part of the wolf. The higher you move up the food chain, the less efficient the system becomes. By the time you reach an apex predator, you are looking at an animal that required enormous amounts of food just to exist. A lion may consume thousands of pounds of prey throughout its lifetime. Behind every pound of lion meat lies an enormous pyramid of consumed animals, plants, and energy. Now imagine you're an early human. You have limited time, limited tools, limited chances to survive. Would you rather risk your life fighting a powerful predator for a relatively small reward? Or hunt the herbivore that the predator is hunting? The answer is obvious. The prey provides more food, less danger, and a far better return on effort. For our ancestors, this wasn't philosophy, it was survival. But energy efficiency is only the first piece of the puzzle. The second piece is something you cannot see. It hides inside the bodies of predators, and it becomes more concentrated with every meal they eat. Scientists call this process biomagnification. The idea is surprisingly simple. Tiny amounts of contaminants enter ecosystems all the time. Heavy metals, industrial chemicals, natural toxins, pollutants in water and soil. Individually, these amounts may be extremely small. A tiny fish absorbs a tiny amount. Then a larger fish eats hundreds of tiny fish. Now the contaminant concentration increases. A bigger predator consumes hundreds of those fish. The concentration increases again. Level after level, the substances become more concentrated as they move upward through the food chain. The result is that animals near the very top often carry dramatically higher levels of contaminants than animals below them. This isn't speculation, it's measurable. Researchers have documented elevated concentrations of mercury in large predatory fish for decades. This is one reason health agencies often recommend limiting consumption of certain species, such as swordfish, shark, and some large tuna. The higher the predator sits in the food chain, the greater the potential accumulation. Now think about a large land predator, an animal that has spent years consuming other animals that consumed other animals before them. Its body becomes a biological record of everything that has moved through the food chain. And contaminants are only part of the story. There is another risk that humans have faced for thousands of years. Parasites. Predators frequently consume raw flesh. Their lifestyle creates opportunities for parasites to spread through entire ecosystems. Some parasites spend portions of their life cycle moving from prey to predator and then onward again. One of the best-known examples is trichinella, a parasite historically associated with carnivorous and omnivorous animals. When infected meat is eaten undercooked, the consequences can be severe. Muscle pain, fever, inflammation, in extreme cases, life-threatening complications. Throughout history, hunters who consumed certain predators learned a harsh lesson. Proper cooking wasn't optional. It was essential. Many traditional cultures developed elaborate preparation methods specifically because experience taught them that mistakes could be costly. Long before microscopes existed, people learned through observation. Eat the wrong animal the wrong way, and bad things happen. Over generations, that knowledge became part of culture. But some researchers believe something even deeper may be involved. Human psychology. Think about your immediate reaction. Imagine a plate carrying a grilled chicken breast. Now imagine a plate carrying a grilled wolf steak. For many people, the second image feels uncomfortable almost instantly, even if both were perfectly safe, even if both were prepared by a professional chef. Something feels different. Psychologists who study food preferences have long noticed that humans often respond to carnivores differently than they respond to herbivores. Part of this may be cultural, but culture itself is often shaped by ancient survival pressures. Behaviors that increase survival tend to persist. Behaviors that repeatedly create problems tend to disappear. Over thousands of generations, avoiding high-risk food sources may have provided advantages. The people who were cautious survived more often. The people who survived passed their tendencies to future generations. The result is a collection of instincts and preferences that still influence us today. Of course, there are exceptions. Humans do eat some predators. Shark is consumed in certain regions. Alligator appears on menus in parts of the United States. Some communities have historically eaten bears. Large predatory fish remain popular around the world. So the rule is not absolute. Predators are not automatically poisonous. They are not forbidden by nature. The pattern is simply that the higher an animal sits on the food chain, the more challenges tend to appear. More energy required. More risk during the hunt. Greater potential accumulation of contaminants. Higher parasite exposure. Less overall efficiency. When viewed together, these factors create a powerful explanation for one of humanity's oldest food choices. Our ancestors didn't need modern biology to understand the outcome. They didn't need laboratories. They didn't need chemistry textbooks. They only needed experience. Generation after generation, people learned which animals provided the greatest rewards for the lowest risks. Those choices shaped hunting traditions. Those traditions shaped cultures. And those cultures shaped the meals we still eat today. So the next time you sit down to a plate of beef, chicken, or fish, remember that you're looking at more than food. You're looking at the result of countless survival decisions made over thousands of years. A silent calculation performed by people who never wrote it down. A calculation that helped determine which animals became livestock and which remained predators. Because at the top of the food chain, danger doesn't just come from sharp teeth and claws. Sometimes it comes from becoming the meal yourself, and sometimes it comes from trying to eat the hunter instead.